Hello, this is a lesson on how to build a model of a big structure based on Google Maps. So we are not starting with SketchUp, we are starting with Google Maps here, and the objective here is to start from something like this. This is our school, to get something like this. Okay, so in this case, what we want to model is the sports center, which is right next to our school here. And well, we will take a screen capture of the sports center. And I'm trying to keep the scale that Google Maps is giving me here, because that might be useful. To take a screenshot, you can use the print screen key in your computer. I just did that, and you can use any image editor to paste it, and I am going to crop the area that is going to be useful. I am keeping this part with the scale just in case. I'm copying new, paste it. This is what I'm going to use. I'm going to save it there. And now in SketchUp, by the way, I'm using the free version SketchUp Make 2017. I am going to bring the screen capture to SketchUp. I'm going to move this guy away. So we go to File, Import, and we want to import is a image here. I select it, and I can place it anywhere now, but I'm going to place it in the origin to make things easier, and I can set the size of this. It doesn't really matter, because now I'm going to need to set this to a one-to-one scale. That's why this is going to be useful now, because this distance is supposed to be 50 meters. And I can use a measuring tape to measure it in the model. And this is 176 meters. So I guess it has to be like 30 times bigger or something. And I'm going to use the scale tool, this one here, to make it bigger. I'm going to try with 30 times. That's a lot bigger, as it should be. And I'll measure again this. Okay, that's almost perfect now. It should be a little bit smaller. If you have something like this Olympic pool that you know the actual size of it, that is more reliable. So I'm going to measure this. 52 meters. So I am going to scale it again and make it a bit smaller. And measure again. .51 meters. So let's see this. I'm gonna be careful this time. This is 4950. I think that's quite accurate. So this is the size I want. So now that this is exactly the size we wanted, here comes the trick. We are going to draw a rectangle from one corner to the other, covering everything, and we're going to paint it with a translucent color. For that, you may need to do this. We come here to this corner and we are going to move it down like that to make sure that they are not together. Otherwise, it may not let you paint it. I might need to separate it a bit more. Like that. Let's see how it goes. Now, there it is. There you go. So now we have a surface independent from the picture where we can work and we can just copy the layout of the sports center. This can be a bit tedious. It is a lot of work. I know that. But if you have some patience, it can be done in like sessions of 30 minutes. You should be able to finish it in 1 or 2 days. So you have to use the pencil and start drawing the layout. I am painting over the translucent rectangle all the time. So you want pink lines because those are perpendicular to each other. So that would be the borders of the pool, and you can do that with everything else, the playgrounds, the soccer field, the athleticism track, and everything else. All right, so just to make this quicker, I am going to show you the work of Celia Pérez. She's really good at SketchUp and she already finished this work. As you can see, she outlined all the playgrounds and everything, even this pool using arcs. There are some things missing, like some trees, positions, and everything, but that's okay because all that can be added later. We even have the lines of the road here that could be useful later. But now, what do we do? Well, the next step is to start coloring things. So this is going to start looking like the sports center, actually. So I think you all understand that in the end, we will get rid of the picture below. Like this picture is going to be, it's going to disappear, not going to be a part of our model. But for now, it's a good thing to keep it there so we can color. And well, this is the fun part. You can start with, let's say, the pitch here. I know this looks like grass, and when you paint it here, it just looks like solid green, but that's what happens when you are far away from a texture. You have to zoom in to see it. And I wouldn't worry by now about the lines of the court or the goals or the basketballs. All these things can be added later. I would just start painting things the way I think they should look. So, for instance, I'm going to use something like this for the borders in the pool and water for the pool and so on. Okay, so now this looks more like the sports center, and well, we could paint more things like the ground here and everything else, but we can do that later too. But the next thing I want to tell you is to start building up the structures, even if they are very little, like for instance the borders of the pool. This is obviously not flat, it has some height, so we start lifting it. Please take a look always at the measurements that you're using, because um, it's better if you use the same height every time. Like let's say we use 0.2 meters, which would be 20 centimeters for this. Also, you know that you can double click here and it will set the same height. Okay, and that is something useful. Uh, Even things that are you don't know for sure if they are flat or they have some height, I encourage you to move them up just to separate them from the ground. I would do that with every chord. Even these ones. So next thing to do is to build up some things that are high. You know, we went to measure the heights of this tennis court, el frontón, and well, uh, you know how this looks like. It's something like this. And now we can push this up. So that's the idea. I think the height for this one was 1134. You can check this on Google Classroom. That's right. So there you go. We can do the same with the rest of heights that we know and keep adding structures. Like this model has the where the spectators sit towards the football is missing here, but should not be too hard to build. There is this house here, this structure, this building here, where you can go in the pool. Two, that should be too hard to build. And well, that's quite it. Also, the fencing, the fences of the courts, like these are the tennis courts. They have fences that protect the balls from flying out of the court. So how do we do that? Well, the best way to do it is to draw a rectangle without volume. And I mean by this, so, oops, something like this. And I'm going to use the pencil because I think it's going to be easier. Blue color means vertical. Don't make them too high. Oops. Don't make them too high. That should be more than enough. There you go. And now when you have this, what you want is to paint it with this fencing thing, so it will actually look like a fence. If you feel like this is too high, you can always move it down. Okay. And also, if you feel like you want to add the structures that are here. Vaya. Well, I guess it's better to do it this way. You can build these things to make them look a little better. And that is what you have to go, what you have to do.